Welcome to the first annual Wise Guys Fantasy Football League. I am your commissioner, Joe Gianosa. Welcome to the league. I'm excited. This is going to be a great year. We have a 12-man half-point PPR league. I can get into the scoring system later and why it makes sense to do a half-point PPR. For instance, if you have some random backup tight end, okay, that gets one catch for 15-yard touchdown that no one started, okay, in standard league, that guy gets 7.5 points. All right. As opposed to, let's say, the same game, the number one receiver on a team got 7 catches for 70 yards, maybe had a touchdown catch in the end zone that got called back by holding on the offensive line or something like that. Well, 7 catches for 70 yards in a standard league, that's only 7 points. That guy's less valuable than the freaking backup tight end? I don't think so. Okay? It makes more sense to do PPR. Now, full point PPR, I think that's a little overboard. All right, that values wide receivers way higher than running backs sometimes with the scoring and everything else. So I think half-point PPR is the right way to go. Okay, take the same scenario. Guy catches one pass for 15-yard touchdown. Okay, 15 yards is 1.5. 6 points for the touchdown. That's 7.5 plus a half a point for the catch. That's 8 points for that backup tight end that nobody started, that no one's going to be able to get a hold of those points. As opposed to the number one receiver that got 7 catches for 70 yards. All right, he's going to get 10.5 points with a half-point PPR scoring. Much more fair as far as that goes. Other things that might be a little bit different than you're used to is the defense. You're not going to get docked if you play the Seattle Seahawks defense. They're doing really well, not giving up very many points at all, and then Russell Wilson goes out and throws a pick six, and it goes against Seattle's defense because of the total points scored in the game. Not anymore. ESPN has finally pulled their heads out and is now not awarding or deducting points from a defense just because their team's offense threw a pick six. All right. Also, if a team gets a shutout, I'm awarding 10 points because if your defense basically shuts out another team, that team won, and they had the most value in the game for that game, so they deserve to get compensated for it with points. All right, let's get started. Okay, there's some cool people in our league, and by the way, I made some little paper scraps here so we can do the draft. Okay, this is a cup. I'm going to do the order of the draft. Okay, first guy here, Jameson. He was the best man in my wedding, one of my best friends. Awesome dude. He sells knives, so if you need some knives, he can train people how to sell knives. So if you need people, you have people that are looking for a job, there you go. That's something that I did, and that's why I'm so awesome today. So make sure you hit up Jameson for some Cutco knives, or if you know anyone looking for a job, he is going right in here. Jameson, you are going to lose at fantasy football. Thank you in advance for your $100 donation. Eddie Tavares. Eddie lives in the Bay Area. He works for a startup booming tech company that helps out businesses. He's a pretty awesome dude, and he was also in my wedding party. Eddie, you're going in the cup. Matt Ernst. Matt Ernst I met a few years ago through a different fantasy football league. His name was Robert that runs it. I'm referring to Robert in the past tense because he's not allowed to play in our fantasy football league. I whacked him because he's not a serious enough player. This year, he's going on a 4-week honeymoon in the middle of the fantasy football season. Absolutely despicable to get married during football season. Probably the dumbest thing ever. I got married during March Madness. Okay, what are you going to do? I had to pick either March Madness or football. It was going to be either in the spring. I can't think about it anymore. But anyway, basically 4 out of every 7 years, the first weekend of March Madness was ruined for me. But hey, the other 3 out of 7 years, whee! That's just how it goes. So Matt Ernst, you are in. Matt lives in Elk Grove. Awesome dude. Loves WWE wrestling. This is me. I'm just doing this in no particular order. Okay, my name's going in the cup. You got Vinny. Vinny, I know through Jameson and my wife. They all went to high school together in the 209, Stockton, California, son. And he lives in Long Beach, like steps away from the water. And his wife's pregnant as well as mine. She's like 10 days ahead. All right. And Vinny is having a boy. We're having a girl. And Vinny, if you think your boy is going to try and hit on my daughter one day, you are sadly mistaken, and I will punch your baby in the face. Victor Pedredes. Victor is actually the owner and president of VP Marketing Solutions. He made us these shirts. Make sure you enter into his March Madness tournament. And he is VP Marketing Solutions president and owner. He's actually the official sponsor of Wise Guys Fantasy Football. So thank you, Victor, for generously donating our league trophy. We really appreciate it. Any kind of merchandise or marketing materials or screen printing, business cards, anything like that, definitely get a hold of Victor. He is your guy on that. Victor, you are going in to the cup. All right. Joseph Waltz. Some people call him Joie because he spells Joey. Some people call him Joey. I call him Joey, but he spells it in the most retarded way you could possibly think of. So retarded that it actually becomes French. Okay, it's J-I-O-E or J-O-E-I or something weird like that. Anyway, Joey is a cool dude, though. Lives in Sacramento, works for the state, so don't trust him. Avery Estrada, also part of my buddy Robert's Fantasy Football League. Him and his wife are awesome people up in Sacramento. And, yeah, he knows his stuff with fantasy football, so watch out for that guy, Avery. Next guy I got up here is Michelle. Michelle was actually in my wedding party. Man, we grew up together. We played Pop Warner football together, 8, 9 years old, high school friends, really good best friends in high school. One of my best friends today, and super cool dude, lives down in Southern California and loves fantasy football, serious player. Watch out for him. He does 247 mock drafts a week. Gabe is Jen's cousin, my wife's cousin. So I've gotten to know him over the last couple years, and we're always talking fantasy football in the off season. So I said, hey, if I start one, you're in. So he's definitely in. That'll be fun. Also, he sells health products, shakes, stuff like that. He's got his own storefronts in Stockton and Lodi. So if you want some health products or health shakes, anything like that, definitely hit him up. Eric Cheshire. Eric, I've known for about 10 years. He was my sales mentor when I first started, and he interviewed me in Cutco. Now he sells closing gifts to realtors, sells Cutco to them. So awesome dude, and diehard Niners fan. Okay, I feel sorry for him. And then last but not least, you have Henry Barona. Henry and I went to high school together and developed a friendship, really a stronger friendship after high school. Kind of were just acquaintances during high school. But anyway, I've known him for 12 years, I'm guessing. And cool dude. Excited he's in the league. Very hungry fantasy football player. So you are in. Okay, and there are all the names in the cup. Whoops, some of them fell out. So I will be doing that draft. And for the draft order, I'll be picking names at random. Hey, make sure you pay your $100. Send me Venmo, PayPal. You could do Square Cash, whatever you want to do. There's 6 playoff teams this year. Top 4 seeds are determined by record, and the last 2 seeds, the 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 seeds, are determined by total points scored. So there's no way you can score a bunch of points and be tops in scoring and be the best team and not make the playoffs. You have to make the playoffs if you have the most points scored, or even the second most points scored in the league. and tiebreakers go for total points. Then the total regular season is 13 weeks long. Week 1 of the playoffs is week 14, where the 1 and 2 seeds, or top one team in each conference, has a bye week. Okay, so if you're the number 1 seed, you earn yourself a bye week for the week, and the 3 seed would play the 6 seed, and the 4 seed would play the 5 seed. Winners of those games will play week 15 against the 1 and 2 seeds, and then we have the final championship week, which is week 16, which is standard among all fantasy football formats. Who knows what will happen that week? I might even be having my daughter that week, so it'll be interesting. A little Christmas baby, and my wife will absolutely not let me put on TV in the delivery room. I have been asking and pleading, and it is a hard no. I cannot have my phone out, so I pray to God that she's not born anytime around Christmas time, but definitely not during the fantasy football championship week. I will lose my mind and have to make some tough decisions with my lineup, because I will be in the finals. Trade deadline is December 7th. If you want to make trades, I highly encourage them. This is a free market league. This isn't a socialist league with a lot of trade restrictions, okay? Like, for instance, a lot of leagues make you wait a 2-day review period for making trades. A lot of people don't want to make trades just because of that, because they have to wait. There is no trade review period for this league, and there is no review at all unless I see it. I have to finally approve it, and if there's some kind of collusion going on, that's the only way I would veto a trade. But the only reason why people want to veto trades a lot of the times in the league is they don't want to see the top teams getting better. So a lot of times a league will have a vote on a trade. They'll see a really good team and say, oh, wow, that trade's going to make them better. I'm going to veto the trade. The only way you veto the trade is if there's some kind of collusion going on where one team is not in the playoff race and they're just dumping their players to the best team to make a championship run or something like that. So if it's obvious collusion, I will stop it. But you're all big boys. This is a big boy league with all people that have at least 5 years of fantasy football experience, and they know what they're doing. So I trust that you're going to make the right decisions and not completely screw over your team, that you're going to know what you're doing, pay attention in your league, know who's injured, who's not, and when someone proposes a trade to you, that you're going to respond right away, either decline or counter or accept the trade, but know what you're accepting. And if good teams want to be better and they see an opportunity to be better and they have a consenting team that wants to trade them something, then there's nothing stopping them from doing it. And there's plenty of times where it could go completely the other way, where a team thinks they're getting better and then there's injuries or something happens. So you never know, especially earlier on in the year. So I will not block trades randomly just because I think they're unfair or another team's winning the trade and another team's losing the trade. There's always a winner and a loser in every single trade. So it just depends on who has the upper hand, and you're not going to know that until later on anyways. So just because a team is in first place and they're winning a trade, that doesn't mean you get to veto that trade just because that team's getting even better. They put themselves in that position. Again, this isn't a socialist league. It's a free market league, and that's how to make it more fun. Want to be active in this league, make a team name, or I will make one for you. That's really important. And the draft, by the way, is Tuesday, August 29th at 8:45 p.m. Make sure you log on. We'll be talking smack on the Facebook page and also during the actual live draft. Make sure you're there. If you auto-pick your team, I will never forgive you, and you'll probably not be invited to next year's league because auto draft is completely lame. Also, if you don't like your draft order, feel free to trade draft picks with another team. That's completely fine. Let's see here. Anything else I want to go over? No, I think that's it. I think what we're going to do now is the draft order. So let's get started. Again, the first one drawn is number 1, and I will go down between 1 all the way down to 12 to see who is drafting where on Tuesday, August 29th. The number 1 pick in the draft, Jameson Jones. Jameson with the number 1 pick. That's great. He has all the decisions to make. Who is number 2? Ooh, Eddie Tavares. Eddie, you have the number 2 pick in the draft. Who's next? Come on. The number 3 pick, Victor Paredes. Victor will probably draft Zeke Elliott because he's a dumb Cowboys fan. By the way, I encourage a lot of offensive smack talk in this league. I can't stress that enough. It needs to be ongoing. Make your own videos, post them on Facebook. It's going to be great. Make the league better. Number 4 pick in the draft, Vinny. Vinny, you are number 4. Number 5, Matt Ernst. You have that number 5 pick. He's probably going to draft Lamar Miller because he's obsessed with Lamar Miller. Number 6. Who is number 6? Avery Estrada. You have the number 6 pick in the draft. Who's number 7? That's me. Right in the middle. Lame. I hate, that's like the worst position. That is me. I have the 7th overall pick. I don't like that. Number 8. Joie. Joseph, you're number 8. I think I might try and trade one of you guys. Get a higher pick. Eric Cheshire. Eric, you have the number 9 overall pick. Again, this is a snake draft, by the way. Number 10, Michelle. You have the number 10 pick, Michelle. Michelle is French Assyrian, so his name is Michelle. Number 11, Henry Barona. You have the number 11 pick in the draft. And last but not least, if your name wasn't called, you have the last pick of the draft, but you also have the first pick of the second round, and that is Gabe. Gabe, you have the 12th and 13th pick. I would much rather be in your position. Maybe I'll send you a trade request for draft picks. So that is it. Make sure you get your payments in on time, or you're probably going to get whacked.